Audio test, check 1 2. Testing audio, check 1 2. Audio test, check 1 2.
As we begin today's meeting, we'd like to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas, the Credit, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations who have called this land home since time immemorial. Please all rise for the singing of our national anthem, to be followed by a moment of personal reflection.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. We have some amendments to the agenda that the clerk will go through.
Through Mayor Brown, the following items have been added to the agenda. 6.1, proclamation for Somali Heritage Month. 6.2, an announcement, film mentorship program. Additional material has been added. 6.3, announcement, Mayor's Tariff Task Force. The presentation has been updated. 7.3, a delegation has been added regarding item 10.6.1. 8.1, staff update, government relations matters. A presentation has been published. 10.2.3, a staff report, election sign bylaw amendments. The report has been published. 10.4.1, a staff report, Center for Community Energy Transformation, 2026 update has been published. 10.6.1, staff report, budget amendment, Charolais Boulevard and Howden Boulevard cycling facilities. Reports published. 6.2, a discussion item has been added regarding the defense sector, economic development. 18.16, bylaw 115 has been added to amend the zoning bylaw for 10309 to 10434 McVean Drive has been published. 18.17, bylaw 116 to adopt an official plan for the same area has been published. 18.18, a bylaw 117 has been published to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for 10350 Gore Road.
Okay, I see there's some other additions. We have Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add a discussion item on the 410. And would it be appropriate for me to now to defer item 15.2? Was the notice of motion that I had requested, having discussions with staff. I think we need a little bit more time, so defer that to next council, or I can do it when the item comes up, whatever you prefer, Madam Clerk.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
Okay, the clerk has both items noted. Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to defer 19.1 to the next council meeting.
Which one is that?
19.1, the audit minutes.
Okay. The clerk will take note of that. And just, I believe we have presentation to Zonta as well for an important individual that was missed at the park unveiling. We could amend the agenda for that too. What number would that be? 6.4, okay. 6.4 is the Rose Seasons launch. 6.6. Correct? Yes. Okay. Okay, Councillor Plushy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the spirit of deferring items, I'd also like to defer item 19.4. I'd like staff to provide us with some information prior to entering, going into closed for that item. There's nothing on the agenda, so I'd like to see something prior to going in. Please. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. 19.4. So we want that deferred till July
Next council meeting.
8th. Okay. Do we have nothing else? So we have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Deputy Mayor Singh to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Are there any? Don't see any. The clerk will so note. We have this following city council minutes before us today. Minutes, City Council, June 10th, 2026. Do any members have comments regarding the minutes? Seeing none, we have a motion moved by Councillor Plushy, seconded by Councillor Brar to approve the minutes. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our consent motion. I will go through the items that can be held for debate or otherwise go on consent. 8.1, Government Relations Matters. 10.21, Proposed Open House Sign Bylaw. Staff Report, Automated Enforcement Red Light Camera. Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah. 10.2, Staff Report, Automated Enforcement Red Light Camera Program Update.
Can you hold on, please?
Okay. 10.23, Staff Report, Election Sign Bylaw. 10.41, Staff Report, City Center Community Energy Transformation Update. Staff Report, Budget Amendment, Charlotte Boulevard and Howden Boulevard Cycling Facilities. 12.1, Minutes Audit Committee, that's already been deferred? Oh, sorry, no, that's the old one.
I think they both should be on. Deferred.
Deferred. 12.2, Summary Recommendations, Planning Development Committee. Summary Recommendations Committee, Council, June 17th.
12.3?
12.3.
Yeah, hold, specifically 8.2.5.
15.1, Notice of Motion, Hockey Canada Foundation Donation. That's a warm and fuzzy news. Hockey Canada Foundation has donated to the city of Brampton. 15.2, Notice of Motion, Adoption of Fuel Cost Adjustment. This has been deferred as well. 16.1, Referred Matters List. 19.1, Closed Minutes Audit Committee has been deferred. Notice to File, City Council. Closed Minutes, Committee of Council. 19.4 has been deferred. 19.5, Litigation Update, Commemorative Monument. Hold. But does anyone want that hold? No? Okay, then. Appointments for 2026 Election Compliance Audit Committee. Transit Update, 19.7. OLT Matter, 19.8. Project Update, Chris Gibson.
Hold, please.
19.10, Project Update, Funding Request, Ward 4. Hold. Okay, this takes us to a consent motion. If we can have the clerk go over what is held. Councillor Plushy.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to hold the one item and vary the agenda to put it, item 10.4.1, and just put it later on the agenda, please. It's staff report, Center of Community Energy and Transportation,
sure.
2026 update, please. Thank you.
Just to vary the agenda to put it later in the agenda?
And hold it, and
hold it.
don't put it into consent.
Okay.
Through Mayor Brown, the following items will be included on the consent agenda. 8.1, Government Relations Matters. 12.2, Summary of Recommendations for Planning and Development Committee. 15.1, Notice of Motion, Hockey Canada Foundation donation. 16.1, Referred Matters List. 19.2, Note to File, City Council, June 10th. 19.3, Closed Minutes, Committee of Council, June 17th. 19.5, Litigation Update, Commemorative Monument. 19.6, Appointments to the 2026-2030 Election Compliance Audit Committee. 19.7, Transit Update Follow-Up. And 19.8, OLT Matter for 8383 Mississauga Road.
Oh, the Zonta Club one, is that, oh, we'd added that, 6.6, what announcement? Rising Stars. Does a member of council want to add Rising Stars? Was there a request for? I don't see anyone here for them either. We can wait till they're here, I guess, yeah. I think maybe we add it to a meeting when they're here. Okay. Okay. So we have a motion for the consent motion moved by Councillor Brar, second by Councillor Vasante. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to proclamations. And we have one proclamation today, and I believe representatives are here from, for that proclamation. And that is Somali Heritage Month. The month of July is recognized as Somali Heritage Month, an opportunity to celebrate the rich history, vibrant culture, traditions, and significant contributions of Somali Canadians to communities across Canada. The Somali community is a vibrant and valued part of Brampton's diverse population, meaningfully contributing in the fields of business, education, healthcare, public service, culture, sports, and community leadership, enriching the social and cultural and economic fabric of our city and nation. Somali Heritage Month provides an opportunity to recognize the resilience, achievements, and diverse experiences of Somali Canadians while fostering greater understanding, inclusion, and appreciation of Somali culture, language, and traditions. The city of Brampton is proud to be home to a diverse and growing Somali community whose contributions strengthen our multicultural identity and reflect our commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion. On July 4th, 2026, the city of Brampton will raise the Somali flag in recognition of Somali Heritage Month and in celebration with the enduring contributions of Somali Canadians to our community. On behalf of Brampton City Council, I do hereby proclaim July as Somali Heritage Month. And I believe the representatives, if you want to come here to respond to the proclamation.
Abdi, you gotta come down too.
Do I need to push somewhere? Or it's okay. Yeah, okay. Good morning, Mr. Mayor and the councils. On behalf of Somali community, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize and include our community in Brampton Summer Festival. In fact, Brampton was the first city which recognized the Somali heritage. It was the first city which recognized our Somali heritage. So on behalf of the Somali community, we want to thank the mayor and the city of Brampton for giving us this opportunity. And I would like to request proclamation since we are going to be organizers for next, on the 4th of July, for flag raising of Somalia. And it will be a pleasure and honor for us if all you could attend, Mr. Mayor and the rest of the councillors. Thank you very much.
So thank you for being here today. If you grab a seat when we finish the announcements, we'll do a group photo with you and the proclamation.
Thank you.
Thank you. I should also note a few things I didn't have my announced at the beginning of the council meeting. I'm thrilled to welcome the city's summer students to council chambers today. We have 120 outstanding young individuals who have chosen to spend their summer with the city of Brampton this year. So thank you for being here. Hopefully you don't find council too slow today. We'll try to add some pepper into the council meeting today to show you that it's interesting, so you can stay engaged, stay curious, and continue making a difference. And they want to hear your discussion items, Councillor Palashi. I should also note, I forgot to congratulate Councillor Medeiros. I know you were pretty happy about the big win over Uzbekistan yesterday. So congratulations to Portugal. I know Councillor Medeiros was very nervous at the event yesterday for the plight of his beloved soccer team. Okay, so this takes us to our next item, which is we have Gulzar G, filmmaker and art facilitator. Please come forward to the podium to share an announcement. This is sponsored by Councillor Fasante, who's also proud of the Portugal national soccer team.
Hello, good morning, council members. Sorry about that. Hi, my name is Gulzar. I'm a filmmaker and facilitator based here in Brampton. I was born and raised here as well. And I'm really excited. Thank you for having me, first and foremost, actually. And yeah, I'm excited to talk a little bit about my recent trip to Cannes in France, where I got to work on some career development. At the beginning of this year, I was invited to take part in the inaugural Writing Hub program at Cannes Film Festival to work on my new short film. The program included pre-festival mentorship sessions online and continued in person at the festival itself, where I was set up with leading industry professionals to better set me up for the film I was making. This was an incredibly surreal experience to be taken, especially out of the GTA and see what film is like outside of the world here. I came out of the program with a better grasp on the creative goals for my project, but also for the film industry globally as a whole. I feel like I'm understanding film in a way that I never have before. And so since coming back, I've been reflecting on filmmaking in Europe and also filmmaking in Canada, but even more specifically, filmmaking here in Brampton. And so I'd like to use this time to also advocate for the local film sector here in Brampton, but for local filmmakers as well. Brampton is full of talent, as we all know, but unfortunately, a lot of the time for filmmakers, there is a shared experience of having to go outside of the city here to gain knowledge, to gain experience, to gain mentorship, and to even work. And so I'd like to bring attention to, in 2024, the Brampton Film Office had released a film strategy program that focused on the gaps that existed in the film sector and the film community here. The goals looked at how to support external projects coming into Brampton, shooting in Brampton, but also for local filmmakers and how to support them. However, unfortunately, very little of that plan has been implemented, and so I want to reiterate that there is a growing need and support for local filmmakers here. And I also want to bring attention to the Brampton Film Showcase that happens annually in April every year. That feels like the leading and the main kind of public event that happens to support local filmmakers. And BAO has been a leading champion in supporting filmmakers here. And so, yeah, this was a really great experience to go to Cannes. And so with this new inspiration, I really encourage City Council members, the development, economic development sector to also take a look at the plan that had been established in 2024 and to see where this support can lead I think there's a lot of talent, as mentioned, in Brampton, and it'd be great to see how we can nurture the filmmaking community here. Thank you so much.
I think Councillor Power has a suggestion, question.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Have you ever connected with Sonny Gill and Heritage Sounds?
I haven't.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
You should connect. So I think Councilor Vicente, if you've got connection with Councilor Vicente, we can put you in touch with those guys. They
Yeah,
have
that'd be great.
A massive film festival and a gala that they do here in Brampton every year.
Okay, great. You said Sunny Gill?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
thank
we'd
you
love
so much.
to, have local creators connected to that broader platform. So that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you.
Our next announcement is sponsored by Councillor Tour, and that's for Denise McClure in regards to the Mayor's Tariff Task Force. We had our concluding meeting yesterday and had some good news from our federal partners as well.
Good morning, Mayor Brown and members of council. Over the past year, the Mayor's Tariff Task Force brought together key Brampton businesses to address trade challenges and support competitiveness in our community. This has included key employers such as MDA, Brandon Steel, Almag Aluminum, Handy Foods, Peel Plastics, Zocam, Canon Canada, DCM, Pile, Brampton Board of Trade, and important partners from the federal government and the province. Yesterday, our final meeting included an important announcement. Next slide, please. We welcome a $5.2 million federal investment to help Brampton businesses grow. The funding will deliver 2 new programs to strengthen resilience and competitiveness: the Business Growth Accelerator and the BNext AI program. Next slide, please. The Brampton Business Growth Accelerator will be delivered by our economic development team under the leadership of Andrea Williams and Paula Aldonate. This program will focus on key sectors such as defense. The goal is to ramp up Brampton businesses to ensure they are finding new customers and new markets. A good example of this is recently our office brought a delegation of Brampton businesses. We were able to use this funding, and we brought them to a large defense conference in Ottawa. We were able to set up B2B meetings with these businesses with the goal that they will receive some of the new defense contracts under the new Defense Industrial Strategy. Defense presents a significant opportunity for Brampton's industrial sector, and we are going to focus on going after this sector in the next year and a half. Next slide, please. The BNext AI program will be delivered by Brampton Beehive in our Innovation District. This program will help businesses adopt practical AI tools to improve productivity and innovation. Adopting the latest in automation and technology is critical for Brampton businesses to be competitive. Next slide, please. Together, these initiatives help businesses expand, strengthen, and innovate. The Mayor's Tariff Task Force has positioned Brampton to respond to global challenges and unlock these growth opportunities. The investment announced yesterday provides businesses with the tools to adapt, compete, and succeed, reinforcing confidence in Brampton's economy. Thank you.
Councillor Tour, any comment as the...
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Just a quick comment, a note of thanks to staff. They've done incredible work since February of last year when you've inaugurated this task force. And in a year and a half, there has been so many meaningful engagements, but also engagements from both the provincial ministers of cabinet, federal ministers as well. And the feedback that we got yesterday at the concluding meeting from all our businesses, they were super happy. And a lot of them said that we're probably the only municipality that has done work of this kind at this level. And, they're fighting getting poached by the United States every single week, but they want to keep jobs right here in Brampton. So thank you, Mayor Brown, for your leadership in this as well. But a big shout out to our staff for putting all this together consistently. And I hope that, maybe in the next term of council, we wouldn't need a tariff task force because hopefully these problems get sorted out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Tour, for your leadership on this as well. Thank you, Denise. There are no questions. Our next announcement is from Councillor Santos. She sponsored the Roses 2026-2027 season launch, and I believe we have Jocelyn Johnson here, manager of theaters, and Charity Chan, supervisor artistic programming, cultural services, community services. Please come forward to the podium.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Brown and members of council. It is my pleasure to share the launch of the Roses 26-27 season today, marking 20 years as the cultural heart of Brampton. The Rose is honored to be a champion of cross-cultural exchange, a place where creativity takes root and cultures connect. This season, we're celebrating the Rose as a place where memories have been made, generations are bridged, and understanding is fostered. Our destination theater isn't only a place, it's a platform. This 2026-2027 season marks a full return to a September to May season structure, featuring more than 60 performances, family experiences, free community events, and artist development initiatives. It also reflects a renewed focus on the Rose as Brampton's premier venue for live performing arts. Our free September birthday party on September 19th features emerging and early career artists from This Is Brampton, a 30-person seniors choir, and a free concert headlined by Kirk Diamond. We are honored to continue our long-standing partnership with the Rose Orchestra, including a special co-commission with the Kune Global Orchestra. We are also partnering with B-Jazz on creating a bespoke A Charlie Brown Christmas, a big band edition. And we are also welcoming new partners, the Reggae North Cultural Association, the High Performing Arts, and the Brampton Latinos Association. In our 20th year, it's critical for us to be expanding who feels seen and at home on our stage. Across the season, audiences will experience a wide range of work, including a choose-your-own adventure immersive theater experience with Talk is Free Theater from Brampton, Ontario, free family day programming featuring Splash and Boots and Chris McCool, and a full week of STEAM-themed March break programming, including Cosmic Odyssey, Brampton's very first immersive exhibition that was developed in collaboration with NASA. By pairing performances with mentorship and industry access, the Rose Industry Lab is fueling Brampton's creative economy and entrepreneurship within our artistic and creative sectors. This year, our work includes a residency with the Sami Brothers Qawwali, featuring Ustad Nasiruddin Sami, stewards of an 800-year-old Sufi musical tradition. It's also our pilot year for the South Asian Music Experience, co-developed with EYP Creations, who, alongside Warner Global Music and ADA, are one of the most prominent distributors of South Asian music around the world. Expect workshops, panel discussions, and concerts featuring The Prophecy, Gurnazar, Signature by SB and J Static. Our Donor Concierge presale begins today, June 24th. Encore membership presale begins tomorrow, June 25th, and tickets go on sale to the public on Friday, June 26th. As we celebrate 20 years of the Rose, we do so with the gratitude for the artists, audiences, volunteers, donors, sponsors, staff, and community partners, the many people who behind the scenes have helped to shape its story. We invite you to come celebrate 20 years in bloom so that we can build what comes next together. Thank you.
Councillor Santos.
Happy birthday, Rose Theater. How exciting, 20 years, and I'm flipping through the program because I haven't seen it yet until now. Such an incredible lineup and acts and music and performing arts. There's a salsa event as well, and I'm excited about Brampton Music Theater's presentation of Grease. I'll be definitely going to that in November, but I want to say congratulations to everyone at the Rose, everyone who's been involved with the Rose, those who donated to the Rose Theater 20 years ago to make it happen. It truly is a gem in the city of Brampton, and it's wonderful to see it bloom and blossom over the past 20 years and 20 years to go. So congrats. I look forward to attending many of these shows and events.
Thank you very much. We are very grateful for the visionaries and city builders who have made this possible.
Okay.
Also, yes, there is a salsa night.
Thank you. Councillor Santos, thank you for sharing this update today. This takes us to our next announcement. I know we adopted on consent the motion, but do we have Clary McGrath, Manager, Hockey Canada Foundation, here?
Through the mayor, we actually have a dean online.
Okay,
from Hockey
great.
Canada.
So we can. Next item is 6.5, Hockey Canada donation.
Mr. Mayor, it's Dean McIntosh from Hockey Canada. I apologize, I'm in the middle of a fire alarm testing in the building I'm in. Is the noise too loud?
No, we can't hear it at all.
Okay, perfect. I will be very brief. We are thrilled today. It's been 3 years since we've been in Brampton for the 2023 IHF Women's World Championship. And we're thrilled to be back in the community to refurbish and enhance the Sandalwood Park Arena. The upgrades will transform the existing double pad rink into a community hub featuring free programming, complimentary skating, helmets, field house, and other amenities for the community to gather around. The entire investment from the Hockey Canada Foundation will be $200,000, and we look forward next February 2027, to launch the opening of that with the entire community. Access to ice time right across Canada remains a barrier to entry to sport, and Hockey Canada and the Hockey Canada Foundation are dedicated to putting kids in the game of hockey. And in fact, just keeping kids right throughout the community of Brampton active in sport, and specifically this case, skating and hockey. I'd like to thank Mayor Brown, the members of council in the city of Brampton for their partnership and the continued commitment for the youngsters in your community playing the game of hockey and participating in sport. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Dean, and we're proud to see the growth of hockey in our city flourish. After years of decline, we're now seeing registrations on the rise, and I think it really is a credit to the investments that are being made, the many new outdoor artificial ice rinks, the free coach clinics we have with Coach Phil, a former Toronto Maple Leaf who provides almost daily, 5 times a week, clinics for kids in our community. We're getting a ton of kids involved in hockey for the first time, and it's beautiful to see. And so certainly every donation can help, and looking forward to how that's going to make an incredible facility even more incredible at Sandalwood. And so, Dean, hopefully you can lace up your skates and join us to see how it's been even more enhanced.
I'd love to be there, and hopefully the 200 and some summer students that you have with you as well can take up the game here in the near future.
Okay, thank you, Dean. And our next item, thank you for joining us, Dean, and the team from Hockey Canada Foundation. Our next item is item 6.6, and this is a bit of an oversight. We had the park unveiling for Zonta earlier this week that I had the honor to attend with Councillor Brar and Councillor Santos. But Dr. Kathleen Armitage Peddle was not there. Inadvertently, she had not been invited, and it was actually her initiative, her and hers, to name this park. And so we brought a commemorative sign to bring and present to Dr. Kathleen. I think hers was working too late that day that she forgot to come to the opening. But I said, don't worry, we will ensure that we can do it again at council. I note that she is the only living founding member of the Zonta Club. And really, you represent the history of Zonta. So Dr. Kathleen, if you could share what it means to you to have a Zonta Park in our community, and we'd be honored to present a miniature sign to you that you can take home as a symbol of Zonta's history in our city.
Good morning, Your Worship, members of the Brampton City Council, and honored guests. I am pleased to have been invited to attend your meeting today. It is especially meaningful to see the recognition of a long-considered and recognizable site in the Flower City, once known as the Flower Town of Canada. In 1974, Brampton became a city, and the Zonta Club of Brampton-Caledon was chartered by the Mississauga Club. I was proud to be a charter member. Irene Biggs, a Brampton councillor, served as our first president. Initially, Town Council dedicated an acre of land near the Chingacousy greenhouses. Later, they donated an entrance to the Heart Lake Conservation Area. Now, the flats will become a part of the history of the old village and also contributing to the vision of the proposed Riverfront Walk, or the River Walk project. Not only do we share a birth date, but we also share the yellow rose as our flower. And there are some roses here for the mayor to either keep or distribute. The dove of peace appears on the Brampton symbol. Zonta International has been in existence for more than 100 years. It was initiated in one of our neighboring cities of Buffalo in New York. Zonta serves as an advisor to the United Nations on matters relating to the status of women. Zonta, spelled Z-O-N-T-A, is a Sioux Indian word meaning honest and trustworthy. In Zonta early years, it invited women in business and the professions to come together in fellowship, service, and leadership. Did you know that in the last century, a council of women was formed to advise the Town Council of Brampton? Did you know that Ruth Hauk, a resident of Peel, was the delegate for Canada for the United Nations? And did you know that Peel Memorial Hospital was founded through the efforts and fundraising of the Women's Institute, and that organization was granted a seat on the hospital's board in perpetuity? Today, all of us have witnessed and appreciated the pace of change and acceleration of daily life. When my family first settled in Brampton at 7 Wellington West, this was a rural, agricultural community. Today, we are part of a region approaching 1 million people, representing cultures and communities from all over the world. The transportation has been remarkable, and it is a testament to the growth, diversity, vitality of our city and region. Even though there are challenges, the benefits outlast it. All of us appreciate change. All of us appreciate the people who have come here from around the world to build new lives and strengthen our communities. We have witnessed extraordinary advances in transportation, communication, technology that have transformed not only our city, but the world itself. Zonta International focuses its efforts on improving the life of women and girls. Over the past 50 years, the Zonta Club of Brampton-Callanan has contributed more than $1 million in service and countless hours to the community through women's shelters, educational initiatives, workshops, ZED clubs for the high schools, birthing kits, and many other projects. Members have worked to create meaningful and lasting change, particularly for the vulnerable and victims. As we gather on the summer solstice, it is fitting to reflect on our history and our future. May we continue to build a community rooted in service, opportunity, and respect for all. Together we can become world leaders by embracing our opportunities for peace and prosperity, with people as our priority. It's not about power and control, but about understanding and harmony. Justice leads to peace. Thank you for recognizing Zonta on this summer's day. We appreciate your recognition of our contribution in the past and look forward to continued collaboration in the future. Dreams do come true. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Kathleen, and we're going to do the photos now, so stick there, and we'll present this and also the Somali proclamation to the group here from Somali Heritage Month. Members of council could join me. Okay, thank you. Before we go to our next item, Councillor Brar reminded me that, of course, she is sporting her Team Canada soccer shirt today because we're all cheering on Team Canada today at 3 o'clock, and hopefully our council meeting will be done. Before then, we like to say Team Canada, or some people call it Team Brampton, because we have more players on our national team than any city in the world for a national team, which is pretty exciting. On that note, our next item to the clerk is 10.2.1, and this was held by Councillor Pelletier.
Excellent. Which one's this one?
This is the open house sign bylaw.
Oh, the open house ones. Yeah, so really want to thank staff for bringing this forward. The realtors' open house signs across Brampton has gotten out of hand. Every intersection you go to, there's up to sometimes 4 signs for one open house. I think I like the recommendations. I know that the real estate board or real estate agents are asking for changes to it, and they're asking for 6 signs per open house. I don't know, I think I have to look at that and see what, I don't want 6 intersections away from that open house to even have signs. And I don't want more than 1 at an intersection. And I understand that if you're going east, then there should be 1 on the eastbound. If they're going west, there should be 1 on your westbound. It's not my problem. And for anybody that is out looking for open houses, I don't know about you, but I certainly don't go to the street corners. Now, to find directions, sometimes it's nice to have, but I'm not driving down Chinguacousy Road and looking at the intersection that has, up to, I've seen 15 open house signs for different houses, and I don't pick one based off of that. So I would like to potentially just allow 1 intersection, 1 per intersection. Also, I would ask somebody, maybe Peter's office, or Steve. We've had in the past reports come to us that says where you live is so many intersections out to, like how you plan communities, where your house is, it's X number of intersections out to a major. And we've had something in the past where it's an average. Can we find that average to say if, I live, like personally, I'm 2 intersections out to a major. I'm sure everybody else, if you count the number of intersections, I don't think it'd be more than 4. So if we would say that would be the number, maybe that's something we can look at. And based off of the other questions and any questions that councillors may have, we can have that report come back next week, if possible.
Yeah, so, and I believe our deputy mayor wants to speak to this too, but I agree with Councillor Pelletier. What a mess it is. And so I'm glad we're actually getting this organized. To the deputy mayor.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just a little bit cautious to change the recommendations on the report, only because this was done with consultations. So we had an industry roundtable as well. And so I just feel like if we want to make changes that aren't consistent with what was proposed and what staff was proposing, I'd be nervous to just, do it on the spot. So if that is the will of council, we could maybe do another round. This does affect the whole industry. And I don't want to put a bylaw that can't be enforced efficiently and effectively. Right now, and then the 6. Yeah, but I just feel like this was done slow and steady with a lot of real estate, the real estate community and residents. We had open houses as well for this. So it's already on social media, these changes. So I'm just very cautious to just make changes to this without going back to the community. That's all I would recommend.
Yeah, and to the deputy mayor, this process started when Councillor Pelletier got complaints in his ward, and we had the item for discussion about it. I was at a round table last week that I was invited to where there was lots of feedback. I think today is what he's suggesting is just defer it a week to make sure we've incorporated that input appropriately, given the fact that there has been complaints about some people abusing it. What I would share with council, and I was asked to share, is I met with a group of realtors who told me they are frustrated that they have publicly purchased advertising on, whether it's a transit bench or bus or community center, and if someone is just throwing them everywhere, in some cases when they don't even have open houses, it's almost like it devalues public advertising. And so I think this is a healthy discussion to have, and I'm going to suggest we take advantage of this week deferral, and maybe Councillor Pelletier and Deputy Mayor can be voluntold just to take that additional feedback and make sure we get this perfect. But I would say I hope I don't want to see this delayed another year. I think it's long overdue that we have more clarity on this. So to Harcourt and Michael, hope you can get this tidied up in time for July 8th. Councillor Pelletier.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and happy to do so along with Deputy Mayor Singh. And that's exactly why I'm asking for, this is one of the reasons why I'm asking for the deferral is based off of that conversation, the staff report doesn't have what the industry's requests are. So let's incorporate that into that as well. So nothing on the whim of anything. Let's punt it off till next week and then reach out again to the industry and make sure that we have it right before it comes back. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, yeah, for July 8th, yeah. Okay, all those in favor? Motion carries to defer. I'm told we missed 2 added delegations, so we're just gonna go back a little bit. And the first delegation is from Rajan Sandhu and Dr. Vicky Mowat from Sheridan.
Good morning, Mayor, members of council. On behalf of Sheridan and Dr. Vicky Mowat and myself, thank you for the opportunity to delegate here today. So we're pleased to represent Sheridan to share a project that will make meaningful contributions to Brampton's healthcare ecosystem, workforce, development goals, and long-term economic growth. Next slide, please. As one of Canada's fastest growing cities, Brampton continues to experience increasing demand for healthcare services. At the same time, healthcare providers across the community face talent challenges, including recruiting diagnostic imaging professionals. This includes sonographers, medical radiation technologists, and CT imaging specialists. I'll pass it over to Dr. Mowat to go further.
Thank you, Rajan. Thank you, Mayor Brown and members of council. To help address the need that Rajan has just introduced, Sheridan has launched our diagnostic imaging technology program back in September 2025. Today, we have approximately 177 students who are enrolled and preparing for careers in ultrasound, CT, X-ray, and MRI. Next slide, please. To support the program, Sheridan is constructing a state-of-the-art diagnostic imaging lab at our Davis campus. The 5,400 square foot facility will include a CT scanner, 2 X-ray machines, and 12 ultrasound training stations. This equipment and the use of simulation technologies, we can probably pop to the next slide, thank you. That the use of simulation technologies that Sheridan is so well known for will provide our students with hands-on experience as they enter clinical placements. The first cohort of students will begin using this training center in January 2027. Next slide, please. What makes this project particularly important is that it brings together education, healthcare, and economic development in a way that directly benefits Brampton's growing healthcare ecosystem. The lab will serve as a student training hub, but also create opportunities for collaboration with hospitals, community healthcare partners, researchers, and industry partners, to help ensure that the local employers in Brampton have access to the skilled talent that they need. Next slide, please. This effort also supports Brampton's emergence as a center for health and life science innovation. As investments continue across the region's healthcare infrastructure, there is a growing need for institutions to support workforce development, applied learning, and innovation, and Sheridan is well positioned to play that role as we prepare the next generation of healthcare professionals needed to support the growing population across Brampton. Next slide, please. Importantly, this initiative builds on Sheridan's longstanding commitment to community health and well-being. Through our health programs and clinics, we already support hundreds of residents from Brampton accessing services each year in massage therapy, osteopathy, and athletic therapy, demonstrating Sheridan's commitment not only to educating students, but to serving this community. The Diagnostic Imaging Lab represents that next step. To summarize, beyond the educational value, the facility will create opportunities for research and cross-disciplinary collaboration to provide a platform for innovation, partnership, and benefit for the broader Brampton community. And I'll turn it back over to Rajan.
Next slide, please. The total project cost is $10 million. Sheridan has secured $1 million from the province of Ontario, and construction is currently underway. We continue to pursue support from the federal government and other partners. Today, we're respectfully requesting $400,000 from the City of Brampton. Next slide, please. Council's support will help advance a project that aligns with the city's goals of building healthy communities, a healthcare ecosystem, supporting economic growth, and investing in the infrastructure needed to serve a growing population. Most importantly, it will help create a lasting community asset that benefits residents, healthcare providers, employers, and students for years to come. We respectfully ask for council support and partnership in bringing this important project to completion. Thank you, and we'd be pleased to answer any questions, I guess, through you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. I see Councillor Tour on the board.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Rajan and Dr. Mowat, for coming and delegating in front of council today. We're so proud that Sheridan still has a home here in Brampton, and you're not just sustaining yourself, you're growing. Especially in health sciences, this council has made so many investments in health sciences, whether that is with the TMU Med School, whether that is our commitment to the hospital. And with Sheridan as well, I know we've had previous partnerships with Sheridan regarding health sciences, and seeing this happen in our hometown again is fantastic news. I think we had this up for some discussion last week at council as well, and a lot of those things have got cleared out. Just to get a better understanding of what that commitment from the provincial and the federal government looks like, because every single time we talk about healthcare, and we're proud to support healthcare in our cities, it is also unfortunate at the same time that we sometimes carry that burden on our taxpayers when it is primarily, I would say, a provincial responsibility. It's good to see that they have made a 10% commitment to your overall contribution. I hope that they could pull up some more, but I think you would have support on council on the request that is there from the city of Brampton to provide that additional $400,000 in support, if that could be our contribution. But at the same time, I would still, on behalf of council, I would still like us to advocate to the provincial government to relook at this, revisit this, say thank you for the $1 million that you're providing us, but this community deserves a lot more from the government, especially when it comes to investment in healthcare. I don't have any questions for you, but thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tour. Councillor Keenan.
Yeah, and well said, Councillor Tour. Thank you so much for your delegation coming in and give us an explanation. I just love having Sheridan College pivot to what the community needs are. We're always saying that we want to make sure that, our children have a place where they can, grow up, get educated, and then work in our community. So this is just a prime example of how Sheridan College is a major pillar in what we try to accomplish. So I know we have an in-camera report that has to do with the same subject. I just think if all the questions have been answered, myself and Councillor Medeiros would just like to move that report up now and move it along with this delegation, if that's okay with the will of council.
Yep. So what we'll do is we'll have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan and seconded by Councillor Medeiros to receive the delegations and approve 19.10 project update and funding request. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to 7.3. Delegation from David Lang, Chair, Bike Brampton, regarding item 10.6.1, budget amendment, Charlotte Boulevard and Howden Boulevard cycling facilities.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Singh, members of council. We just got access to the TTS data yesterday, which is the Transportation Tomorrow Survey data for 2022, so 4 years later. And there was some interesting things that came out of that I wanted to share with council today in relation to the staff report on the changes to Howden and Charlotte Boulevard. So what you'll find in this report, and my delegation shows a clear building of momentum for AT in Brampton. And I wanted to, have to mention that momentum is at risk because of council decisions to remove bicycle infrastructure without adequate replacement that interferes with the interconnectivity of the network. Next slide, please. So 2 measures, 2 comparisons we made across all 10 wards, one for the AM rush hour, which is when AT choices are typically the highest, and one for active transportation travel throughout the day, which shows more of a trend in what transportation habits are for the city. Next slide, please. So, so the citywide picture shows substantive increases in active transportation for both the AM rush and the all-day travel, which are up as much as 30 to 80%. So in one case, it's for the 24-hour, it's up over 80%. And it's also notable that the increase in the number of people living outside of Brampton who are now choosing active transportation as a travel mode to come to Brampton to work and play. Next slide, please. This slide shows, pardon me, this slide shows word-by-word comparison for the morning peak. And you'll see that there are substantive increases experienced everywhere, but especially in wards 3 and 4 and 9. And I should note that Ward 3 and 4 is where Charlotte Boulevard is. Next slide, please. And this chart shows that the increased active transportation travel extends throughout the day across all wards, indicating that there is a fundamental shift occurring in transportation habits across the city. And the next slide will show that not only that it's not solely due to the changing patterns in transportation as a result of COVID. Next slide, please. So this slide is not from the TTS data, but from the Atmospheric Fund data, which was produced in November of 2024. And the data here aligns very well with the TTS data, and it shows specifically cycling as opposed to the combination of walking and cycling. Both number of trips and also the distance traveled. So Brampton cycling trips were up 22% between 2022 and 2023. And at the same time, the rest of the GTA HA was up only 4%. So Brampton has a really great news story in terms of the mode shift from other modes of transportation to active transportation modes. There was a 57% increase in the number of trips between 2018 and 2023 to almost 3.5 million annual trips annually. And the distance cycled increased by 73% to 9.5 million kilometers annually. Yep. As network connectivity increases, the people's comfort level and for longer travel also increases. So that shows that trend. And it's showing momentum accelerating past 2022, even as the traffic effects of COVID are winding down. Next slide, please. And we can skip over that one and just go to the last slide. So the trend is clear. The active transportation mode share is growing substantially, and that growth is accelerating. More people living outside of Brampton are using Brampton's AT infrastructure to commute to work, school, or play in Brampton. A connected active transportation network is key to maintaining the momentum. Ripping out bike lanes without adequate replacement jeopardizes that momentum. We support the staff report and the recommended cycle track option for both Howden and Charolais. A multi-use pathway on one side is not going to yield the mode share shift that the city needs to avoid traffic chaos by 2051. 70,000 people need to wake up each morning and say to themselves that they are not going to drive their car today. And the only way we're going to do that is through having an interconnected network of active transportation. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your delegation, David. I don't see any questions, so
Okay.
I have a motion moved by Councilor Power and seconded by Councilor Santos to receive the delegation. All in favor? Motion carries. Moving on now, I believe the next item is 10.2.2, held by Councilor Tour. Staff report regarding automated enforcement and red light camera program update.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Perhaps if, Michael, if you want to step forward and just quickly summarize the recommendations that are there, because I know there's different things that we're doing that are part of this report, but if you could just summarize those.
Sure, yeah, through the chair, Councillor Tour. The report is recommending three approaches here in terms of next steps from transitioning from the automated speed enforcement program. The first being the establishment of a local red light camera program with the city of Brampton. Currently, there are cameras operated within Brampton that are operated through Peel Region at regional intersections, so this would allow us to establish, we're recommending 20 cameras phased over a period of 2 years at local intersections. The second piece being a noise camera pilot. So there has been many advancements in automated enforcement technologies, and this is one that shows some promise, although we don't have legislative authority to issue tickets for those offenses. We want to pilot the technology, gain some operational experience, perform proof of performance, and then use that information to help advocate to the province for the legislative tools to be able to operate and issue tickets under those offenses. And thirdly would be, we've been in conversations with Peel Regional Police to transition remaining unused automated speed enforcement cameras for their purposes, to use the ALPR functionality similar to the intersection cameras that we have in place to assist them with investigations and things of that nature.
Okay, just to talk on those three things separately. The first one, I don't have any questions about regarding the administrative penalty system for that. But on the noise camera portion of it, could you explain how the pilot is going to work out? So it's a 1-year pilot. Obviously, we can't give out tickets or anything of that nature. This is more just to study this initiative. But is anywhere else in the province anybody doing this? Is the MTO doing this? Because this is ultimately will rest with the province to change legislation on something like this to even come into effect, even if the pilot, we find good success with it. But is there any other body that's like doing the same kind of investigation or study?
I understand the City of Toronto is potentially investigating this option as well in a similar fashion to provide some information to help inform advocacy efforts and future legislative changes. Outside of Ontario, the City of Edmonton is doing some work with respect to this, and then outside of Canada, there are a number of jurisdictions, including the UK and some states in the United States that are also performing, that are actually issuing tickets for these types of offenses.
So part of the challenge that's happening in the United States, if you see the discussion online, that's been going on for the last couple of months, especially when it comes to Flock. It has been very negative, sort of discussion, a very negative impact in the community. There's been massive concerns faced for privacy, especially when it comes to devices that are listening. That's where people's concerns just multiplies. A few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we met with Peel Police and we got to see their technology where they're detecting gunshots. We got to see how that works in action, how they implement that. They look at, what's the portion of a sound, how much audio do they record, how does it get deciphered, all of that. My concern with this is similar to that, is what kind of direction are we going to be heading? Like, again, if residents ask me that, you're putting up noise cameras, great, we don't want loud cars, we don't want to hear, any nuisance, but if it comes at the risk of, these devices listening to our communities, literally, that becomes problematic.
Right. Through the chair, what I would add to that, I think, is a couple of things. So all of the automated enforcement programs that we have established, whether it's red light camera or automated speed enforcement, do require us to perform a privacy impact assessment and consult with the IPC, the Information Privacy Commission of Ontario. So even with this pilot, because we are capturing information through that, whether it's license plates or recording video or information or sound, those sorts of things, we would need to do a robust privacy impact assessment that would deal with any of the privacy concerns, and I'm certain would ultimately, take into many current events related matters, like the examples that you were giving around Flock and listening, recording audio in the area. So I would imagine that those elements would all be captured through the privacy impact assessment.
Okay, so the direction I'd like to see in that sense is this is a good idea to do this. We've talked about this with council, but before you fully implement the pilot, before we pick one technology or multiple technologies to go ahead with any of this or to do that, the privacy assessment, I would say let's do all those things first. And if then it could come back to council to say, here's what we're going to do, here's the technology that we have, we've, checked all the boxes, cleared everything, it's fully accountable to us, how that pilot framework is gonna get laid out, before it gets actually implemented outside, and on a physical location.
Yeah, and our intention was our target timeline is to roll this pilot out in the fall, so potentially we could come back at the September meeting if that if that works for council, and we
Yeah,
can bring back
so-
more information
so-
at that time on that aspect.
Okay, so from this council meeting till then, if you can just get all of that together, come back to council before it actually gets installed in a physical location, I'd want it to come back to council to be able to see that. I'd be happy to support it, if that's how it works out. Do we need, changes in wording the way that is, or is that, if staff accepts that as direction, I'm okay with the wording that's on there then? Because this one says to implement the pilot program, I would say could it come back to council for like a final?
We can take that as direction and
Right?
report back, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. The last part of this is the Peel Police, part of it. Could you explain what that means then? Our cameras that we have right now, we're leasing them, right? Are we just gonna transfer the lease over to them? Are we still paying for the lease? Is Peel Police gonna take over the lease? Are they gonna pay for it? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, are they fully gonna take that contract over?
Yeah, so those discussions are still underway with Peel Police. My understanding based on the conversation so far is that they would work with the vendor to purchase, like to actually procure the cameras, and we would end and terminate the leases.
Again, just sorry, repeat that again. I'm just like too many conversations.
Yeah, so we are still in discussions with Peel Police, and so nothing has been finalized. However, the intention would be that they would procure the cameras and we would terminate the leases.
So it wouldn't end up being a cost to us anymore, if Peel Police takes it over? Is that, because that's not how I read it in the report, it seemed like we have an agreement with the Peel Police to do this, like we have come to an agreement.
I think the report had indicated that it's still subject to Peel Police Services Board approval, in that section of the report. So that's the current status.
Okay. And just the, point number 5 there on the budget amendment for $245,000 with $205,000 for red camera installations for 2 locations. Could you just explain the cost of that? Because I know last time we got scrutinized when we had the intersection cameras up there, and the cost, it was bundled up all together, but I know part of that was construction cost, part of that was hardware cost. Could you just elaborate on that one, please?
Sure. So the 245 that's outlined in recommendation number 5 is for 2 specific pieces of the installation. We've identified 2 cameras that we would like to get started on the installation process for these red light cameras this year, because there are 2 locations where we're also installing the intersection cameras. So this allows us to do some of that work in parallel to have some economies through that process. So the $205,000 that we've identified for those 2 cameras is identified there. So that's just the capital installation costs that would go for those 2 cameras. And then there's
But is that $205,000 cost of the 2 cameras?
for installation. They would be leased cameras as well, like through the existing vendor that we have with ASE for the ASE cameras. And so that would be just the installation costs. And then there would be an ongoing lease cost for the cameras.
Okay, got it. Those are all the questions that I had. I'm happy to support everything else, but if I could ask we vote separately on number 5 on the budget amendment piece of it for the red light cameras, I would not be supporting that. So if we can vote on that one separately. Thank you.
Okay, and if there's any questions specifically as it relates to the Police Services Board, I can answer any of those questions as well, Councilor Tour.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Yeah, just to understand how the process is going to work out with Peel Police, because I understand that they want these to be able to use these cameras, which is fantastic. Adds to the equipment that they have, but just want to make sure that once we reach an agreement with Peel Police, that we no longer are liable for any of the costs for these cameras anymore. It's fully gone to Peel Police and they do it.
And so there's a number of the locations that the police believe could be of benefit for additional digital evidence, and they would take those cameras on. I don't think it's an entirety of the speed cameras we had, but they definitely have an interest, and Deputy O'Dwari, who's, I think, brilliant in technology, is the one stick handling this, and so I think that is great. I'd also note that on the noise for noisy mufflers, the Premier and the MTO Minister have told us they will give us that ability. When we had our disagreement on the use of speed cameras, there was areas that they outlined they would support in regulatory changes, and that was one of the areas. And so, and I say that is something that the police supported as well. Project Noisemaker happens like once a year.
Yep.
But there's simply not the police resources to deal with it on a regular basis. There's more serious crimes they have to attend to, and so I think these changes are welcomed. I'd also note that under the provincial funding that was rolled out, Brampton got substantially more than every other municipality because it's based on the number of speed cameras you have, and so we've got the greatest financial tools to do some of these challenges, these changes.
I appreciate that, Mayor Brown, but I think you know how much I believe the Premier of Ontario when he's committed to something. I believe it when I see it happen. So on that note, I just won't be supporting that, like that part of it. We're happy to look at studying it, but if it happens, works out, it's good. Just a quick question again on the our speed cameras that Peel Police wants to take over. My understanding of how these cameras are, they're more like, in layman terms, they're photo cameras that are taking pictures when it's getting triggered by a speed infraction. How will the Peel Police utilize that, understanding that this is not like a video camera, like our CCTV cameras or the intersecting cameras?
So the cameras themselves and how we've used the application of those cameras is in line with the regulations for ASC. So we only use the photo making capabilities. They do have additional functionalities. They are more versatile. So that would be based on
They
their
can be
needs and
configured and use it.
and all the things around privacy concerns, et cetera, would be dealt with by Peel Police.
Cool, thank you.
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I was in support, still in support. Kind of wanted to see where Councillor Tour was going, but my only comments were around the software configuration. And in the future, kind of let this one go. I don't want to see any cost to any software configuration. Our software system for this technology is new enough for that it should be able to adapt with any changes or anything that's coming forward. So sometimes I feel like if there's somebody else if somebody's coming in, they're throwing a cost at that because it's a potential. I don't want to see that in the future, especially for any types of new software. So if we can just ensure that that's not the case, much appreciated. And if it is, then flag it, please, so that we can have a look. But interested to see where this conversation goes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Frattini.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Happy to support it. I believe 50 cameras are not enough. I believe every intersection should be done because I see people always trying to beat the light. One question, are these cameras, will Peel Police be able to use them for, like, safety for crime and stuff?
Through the chair, Councillor Frattini, do you mean the red light cameras?
Yeah.
I don't believe so. I think under the red light camera legislative regime, they need to be used for the purpose that they've been set out for. So I'm not sure we can use them for dual purposes, but something we can investigate.
Okay, and I know when I did the tour there, a lot of times, like, we have cameras, they have to call us to get permission to get in, and I think, they should automatically go in. So it would be nice if they could use them also for crime at the same time, what to see for evidence.
Right, and through the chair, what I would also just add, I guess, is the cameras that we are transferring to Peel Police, if once that occurs, they would be able to use those for whatever purposes they require.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Frattini. I'm going to suggest we vote on this separately. My understanding is that, Councillor Tour, you want to wait till the privacy assessment's done on red light cameras and then proceed with everything else. Is that correct?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Brown, just on the point number 4, the 1-year noise camera technology pilot, I think staff is taking that as direction that they go look at the privacy side of things, come back to council in September before they actually implement that. I want to understand exactly what we're doing with that noise camera technology. I don't want my community to feel like we're listening in on them or anybody's accessing conversations that are happening on our streets or on the roads. So I just want to fully understand that. So staff will come back with that, and happy to support it then. But I was just asking if we could vote separately on item number 5 and actually item number 6 as well, because they're both related. That's the red light camera program. I'm just not supportive of those 2 items right now. If we can vote on those separately. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and I was going to say, so I don't think we'll have the regulatory change the next few weeks. Maybe we will, and so I don't think a delay on the 1-year noise camera technology will be a big issue. I'm just saying, in terms of people's privacy and red lights, if you run a red light, I don't care about your privacy. You're a reckless driver. And the same reason I had for the speed camera is why I supported it. Remember Councillor Pelleshi said, you know, big fat ticket changes someone's habits. So I don't think the summer delay will change anything on the noisy muffler one, but I do hope we can proceed with, I wish we had more tools from the province. The limited tools we have, I want to lean into to deal with bad drivers, because we do have a problem with bad drivers that this can help address. So to the clerk, how we vote on this separately, it just, you're asking for 4,
If we can
5?
if you can vote on 1, 2, 3, 4 together and 5 and 6 together.
Okay, sure. Okay, so I'm happy to move, second by Councillor Keenan, 1, 2, 4. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Now items 5 and 6, happy to move with Councillor Keenan, items 5 and 6. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? One in opposition. Okay. This takes us to our next item, to the clerk.
Okay, Mayor Brown, 10.2.3 was also held.
Yeah, I think there's just a little bit of confusion on this, and that Councillor Pelleshi identified. Councillor Pelleshi, maybe we could just clarify the confusion by fixing it.
Yeah, perfect. And happy to support, with the intent of this is that nobody's running around. We're not Las Vegas. You can't run around with these big trucks and flashing signs, and especially for politicians. But any other, it's very new for us. I know it happens in New York, but it's big in Las Vegas. We're certainly not there yet. Just ask staff to go back to, take this report back, bring it back next week, next council meeting, just with the electric mobile signs. And that's something I think council needs to make a decision about. Unless it's here today, with just taking that portion of the report, moving that forward, everything else kind of has to, you can't, that can't be done so close to an election. So, but this other mobile licensing, mobile signage, electrification, is something that I would like council to not support, at this time.
Is this to clarify how we distinguish this? A giant video screen obviously is a distraction on the roads.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who has a magnet on their car is not the same, and that is something that has been done in the past. And so my understanding from the clerk is this doesn't prohibit magnet on cars, but I understand from the commissioner that it may. So we could just clean that up between the next council meeting. I think that's what was the confusion centered around.
I'm of the, don't change anything when it comes to that type of the signs. We can't change the rules when we're this close to an election, and especially for people that are running in the election. But in terms of the mobile sign, the electrification of signs, something I'm not going to support here today, and happy to turn that down.
Okay.
And clean it up and bring it back? Perfect. Happy to move that referral.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Pelleshi, second by Councillor Keenan. All those in favor? Motion Oh, sorry, Councillor Fertini.
Yeah, thank you, and I'm supportive of it, and I do agree. But what happens if they get caught? We should have the fines a little bit heavy, because if you give me a $30 ticket, you know, they'll rather just pay the ticket. So, you know, if we're gonna enforce this, we gotta really put the hammer to it with a big fine.
Yeah, I agreed, and so I think the comment from Councillor Fertini was that there has to be teeth to it. So if someone is running a movie truck around the city, no one wants to hear from us on a movie truck. And so if there's a blaring music or video, that there has to be teeth to that, and hopefully that will be included in the report.
Yeah, absolutely, and, you know, and I understand after we give the ticket, they go to court, but at least our ticket has to be with teeth, like you said. Thank you.
Motion carries. This takes us to our next item, to the clerk. I think this was held by, no, Councillor Plush, you asked us to hold this down. Are you ready for it now, or do you want to then?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that the other parties were happy. I've heard a fantastic email was sent last night, and thumbs up. Thank you very much. I appreciate staff re-looking at this with the residents for sure. And Councillor Barr and I are happy to move and second this.
Okay, moved by Councillor Plushy, seconded by Councillor Brar. All those in favor? Motion carries. This was held by Councillor Power. This is the budget amendment for Charolais Boulevard and Howden Boulevard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to get some clarity on some of the money here. Like, for example, I won't speak to Charolais too much, but for Howden Boulevard, a multi-use pathway on one side is $3.2 million. If I do two sides, it's $4.2 million. Why? It's the same amount of work on both sides. Why is it only $1 million to add an extra side?
Through the chair to Councillor Power, the cost of on both the sides is multi-use path cost of asphalt removal is double. But at the same time, the intersections are there, and there are other utilities in section, which is a common part. We still have to do the cross rides or intersections on various locations. So I think that adds up to the overall cost. That's a kind of a fixed cost, whether you do it one side or two side, but we have to have that cost for traffic signals at intersections and other stuff for utility locations. That's what the cost is on that.
So if I'm going to residence and I'm thinking just simply going to residence, if it costs me $1 million to do one side, but $3.2 million to do the other side, or vice versa, it doesn't make sense. How do I explain that?
Maybe I can have Dan also. She has done the estimate, so she can go into detail if you want to dig into it. But most of the cost is a common cost.
I don't think that's what you're saying.
Through the mayor, the two-side cost is between Williams Parkway and Dixie. And one side cost is throughout the entire length from Williams Parkway to Central Park Drive. That's why the cost difference is.
Okay. So if we can do a 2-meter wide pathway in-house in a park for a third of the price for square meter, why is it this cost? So on average, so if I look at a square meter, 2-meter wide pathway in a park, you still have to do the same amount of work. It's $175 a square meter. In this scenario, it's $400 a square meter. Why is the difference?
So that's what exactly, Councillor, I told you before, like it's like other costs, utility locations, the major cost for, as compared to the parks. Parks has no utility locations, so no cross rides at intersections, right? So that's a major cost we are encountering. And at this point, we are asking for design money, but moving forward, once we have the design done in detail, we are going to look at the whole cost analysis again. And when we come for budget cycle, the considered cost will be more determined, more fixed, and they will have more numbers. At this point, these are more like estimates based on the 30% plus minus concept.
So we've done the design for Howden.
Yes.
Right? We know what utilities, what anything else is there. If we were to do cycle tracks, why is the cost so high?
So there's a lot of utilities on the south side on, I don't know when you have, the boulevard is very kind of narrow. We have to make a lot of changes to the utility locations on that one, plus the cross sides.
Okay.
And the cost we are having is same as what we are doing Westgate Boulevard now. They're pretty much the same cost we have been taking from Westgate Drive in your ward. So we are using the same numbers,
So
which are
would-
from the real numbers going now.
Wouldn't we want to go out to RFP for this?
Definitely, yes, we are going to go out for complete tenders, public tenders, and we might say different numbers when we come.
So the costs that are set here are just average costs, they're not actually the actual cost.
No, not really, because it will depend on market conditions at that time, right? When you go out for tender.
And then the next thing that I would ask is the 372,000 for primary design of Charlotte Boulevard. Why are we asking for 372,000 for design work?
There's a design for, I think if you look for the whole design, it's a 3-kilometer road, and we have to do the survey on both the sides, detailed survey, identify the locations, and then have the alignment done, and design the cross rides, traffic signals, and intersections, everything. It's a staff cost.
So how much of the cost of that is external, to go out to an external partner versus how much is being done internal?
I think the cost we have taken is the minimum 5%, just for the staff cost. If you go outside, it will be between 5 and 10%. The intent is to do it in-house for all the Charlotte Boulevard design.
So 372,000 is to pay our own staff to do this design work?
That's correct, that's my understanding, right?
And then 75,000 is to pay our own staff to rewrite a book?
So I think I will defer that question to Steve's group.
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councilor Power, actually, the council will recall staff were directed to do an update of the active transportation master plan. We'll be doing that work in-house through in-house staff from planning, building, growth management. The 75,000 is to have the plan peer reviewed prior to it coming to council by some subject matter experts in the field of active transportation, simply because there has been a lot of dialogue with council on intersection designs and potential improvements. So staff are going to be undertaking the entire active transportation master plan work in-house, but that $75,000 is there if we choose to have it peer reviewed by others who have implemented AT facilities in other cities.
So, I mean, I'll let the ward councilors talk to Charlotte Boulevard. I'm happy with the removal of the lanes at 265,000, but I don't understand why we're paying extra money for in-house design. So I wouldn't support the extra amount of money, but I would support removal of the lanes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Keenan.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. I had a lot of the same questions as Councilor Power. Obviously, when I read the numbers, they didn't make sense to me. Through this conversation, I'm understanding that staff are putting together what you believe budget numbers may come in at. The thing we struggle with is this becomes a report that goes out to our residents saying, oh, you're taking out bike lanes and you're spending X amount of dollars to do this and do that, not really saying that it's internal cost and what's external cost. For me, we are the delegation today. I think we know what we'd like to see on Charlet, which is a bike lane on going each way. Knowing that this is internal cost, maybe an explanation around that, because we pay our staff, it's in our budget. This will be additional funding needed for those departments in order to facilitate this? Is that correct? Like those people, do we have to hire new people, or the people we're currently hiring are going to be doing this work?
Through the chair to Councilor Keenan, yes, I think normally the way capital works staff works, they charge their time back on the project, right? So it's all the existing staff we have. We don't have to go out and recruit anybody else. It's a staff time on the existing FTEs we have. They'll be working on the project and they charge their time back to the project. That's the cost we are looking for.
Right, okay. So it's really moving of money more than it is allocating new funds.
That's true, correct. Thank you.
right? Okay, so then I can get behind that, because we're not allocating new money, we're just saying, you're not gonna be doing this project, you're gonna be doing it here, and this is where we bill your time. So for me, that makes a little bit more sense. So in that case, I could support it. The other question I have is in the removal, and I know I've had some offline conversations in the removal. Myself and Councilor Medeiros, knowing that we were going down the stretch of possibly the removal of the road bike lanes, we had done a resurfacing on Shirley between Main Street and McLaughlin, to which we said, don't pull back the full bike lanes, because if we have to remove them, it'd be a waste of money. So now we're coming back with 265 to do the other side. Should we not have got some sort of credit for not having to paint the bike lanes on the current side? Has all of that been taken into consideration? And is this a quotation that we've received to do this work? Or again, is this just staff putting a figure to what they believe the cost should be?
Through the chair to Councilor Keenan, yes. So you're correct. I think what we did last year was the small section from Main Street to all the way to Jamesport, which is around 3 kilometers. We only
It's around how much, sorry?
Almost 3 kilometers, right?
3 kilometers.
Yeah, that's what you're talking now. The one we did for resurfacing was from McMurtry to McLaughlin. That's around 600 meters. So that was a small section, not the entire section. And we did go back and put some kind of temporary road lights for just for the safety of the public. So I think the number we have now is from our operations team. We have an ongoing contract with operations team. The other numbers, it's not a quotation, it's a number. They are contractor we have. City has a contract on site, and we're going to existing rates from the existing contracts, competitive rates.
These are existing rates that we have in-house to do this work.
In-house, retained by the operations guy, they have a contract with a contractor to do payment markings throughout the city.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask the same question. Are these additional funds that are needed, or money that we're moving in order to cover it?
No, this is additional funds because they're.
So the additional funds is the 200 and change, whatever the number is for the removal.
And this one also includes more like paid duty officers on intersections, because we have 6 intersections. So when we're doing work on intersections, we have to pay the police also.
Okay, I am gonna be happy to support it, knowing that the money is being moved and not additional tax dollars that we'll have to get to do the larger portion of this scope. The concern I have is I really wanna make sure that you meet with the ward councilors to make sure that we're getting, not what we're hoping that we get, which is the 2 lanes, which is obviously what we heard from the delegation today as well. And the last thing I'm gonna come to is on redoing the plan. We're keeping the connectivity on Shirley, so that piece is staying, be it a different form, but the connectivity is there. The connectivity is coming back to Howden. So there's no real changes to the plan based on the changes that are being made here today. So I just want to make sure that we're separating two. The request for this funding is coming to look at the city as a whole, to redo what may need to be redone and revisit it as a whole, not because of these 2 individual.
Through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councilor Keenan, you're absolutely correct. Council's previous direction was to update the active transportation master plan for the entire city, and it's not driven solely by the motions that led to today's report.
Okay, so that gives a little bit of clarity as to where the money's coming from, where it's going, what part of what's being done has effect on that. I just don't feel that it was very clear in the report. So I appreciate Councilor Power, bringing most of this up and asking a lot of the questions I was going to ask. I am happy to support the report now that I have more clarification. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Frattini.
Yeah, thank you. Just, I got a couple of questions, but mostly for Howden. So we're looking at a 2-meter, which is around 8 feet, just under 8 feet. Where do we get 8 feet to Boulevard to put this path on when we don't have 8 feet? And what do we do with the trees, the Rogers, infrastructure, light poles? So how could we do it on both sides when a lot of places we don't have more than 5 feet, 6 feet?
Through the chair to Councilor Fortini, yes. I think we have looked into both the options. Like, I think we can still squeeze in 2 meters. Maybe for a few meters, we may have to make it more 1.5 or 2 meters. But I think we can squeeze in that. We have looked at the preliminary report and the design. So we can always fit in 2 meters. Maybe narrow sections, but we may have to put some signage for the bike riders to be careful on that section, if you want to go both sides.
Yeah, like when you go from Dixie going up, on that side you got the townhouse, you only got maybe 1.5 meters. You're lucky, 1 meter, and then you got the sidewalk. And the other side, you don't even have 1 meter. So there's a lot of areas we have to be, be careful of. And if it
Definitely,
would
we
be
can-
nice if we could do only one side and do it bigger, and at least it joins, but
I think
fortunately.
we have more room on the south side, so that's why our preference was, but I think if you want to both sides, we can do it, but with some restrictions.
Okay, I'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Back to Councillor Power.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So if we were to do cycle tracks on Howden and directional cycle tracks, so east-west cycle tracks, you could theoretically put 1.5 meter wide asphalt strip closer to the curb, which wouldn't affect a lot of trees or many utilities.
I think I'll defer it to my, I think we can try. It may not be safe if you're just putting the 1.5 meter cycle track right on the, beside the curb, right? So I think it's better we can replant both those trees if need be.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion here. I see no one else on the moved by Councillor Keenan, second by Councillor Power. No. Second by Councillor Santos. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? One opposed. Motion carries. Okay, this takes us to our next item. I believe this was held by Councillor Keenan.
Correct. Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor, just quickly, I'm just giving all of the overrunages and costs when it comes to rec centers. We go out for tender, and we come back, we don't have enough, and then we have to change how we go out to be able to negotiate to redesign it. I'm just trying to, I know this is a very important project, Ward 7-8, but for all of Brampton, because it's the home of the library. So I just want to make sure that this is being done from the get-off as a CM contract, so that we can avoid all of those delays. Can that be taken as direction, or do you need to move a motion for it? Perfect. Thank you. Happy to move it.
Councillor Power? No. Okay. Moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Asante. All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, this takes us to our next item. Okay, happy to speak to this. There is right now a real momentum in the defense sector, given the fact that Prime Minister Carney has committed us to our NATO obligations for defense spending. And one company from Brampton is doing very well, is Rochelle, working with NATO, the EU, and right now they're in the runnings for a major Government of Canada contract. And we have a motion here that we're told will be helpful. We're in the runnings with Ingersoll and Oshawa for this contract that would mean a significant job creation in the city of Brampton. And so this is just a motion of support for their pitch to the Government of Canada to have this allocation for the federal light utility vehicle and domestic Arctic mobilization enhancement procurement. So this is defense spending in the Arctic as part of a Canadian sovereignty. And it's for the federal contract for light utility vehicles. I should say, just to give Rochelle credit, when they had the recent NASA launch last month, it was neat to see a Brampton company's vehicles being utilized in that launch. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, Councillor Pelletier. 16.3.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To members of council, I'm sure you've heard the complaints about the 410 gridlock. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yes. 410 gridlock is obviously becoming a greater issue. The bottleneck has moved from where it used to be at Queen Street before the province was nice enough to widen the 410 up to now what is just north of Beauvais. With the latest announcement from the province about extending the 410 up through into Caledon, in and around Heart Lake Road, I believe. That's great, very much welcomed, but an expansion certainly needs to be done, needs to be had south of Sandalwood, where they've completed in and around Beauvais, all the way right through out of Brampton, so we can keep people moving. I think it's up to Caledon to then seek an expansion or an expanded 410 once that's built. But I would really request council support and advocacy effort to knock on the Premier's door and our favorite Minister of Transportation and ask them to look into expanding the 410 north of Beauvais in and around and out of Brampton. I had the conversation with Deputy Mayor Singh, and I'm sure Councillor Tour is well aware, and other councillors have had the conversation with Councillor Brar as well, that this needs to be had, and we need to start working on this ASAP. So if I can have an advocacy motion through you, Mr. Mayor, and the motion supported by myself and Deputy Mayor Singh to advocate to the province for an expansion of the 410.
Okay. Moved by Councillor Pelletier, seconded by Deputy Mayor Singh. All those in favor, motion carries. Okay. Public question period. Are there any questions from the public?
Through you, Mayor Brown, there are no questions today.
Anything, seeing none? Okay, this takes us to, this takes us to our bylaws. So I have, a motion moved by Councillor Basante, second by Councillor Santos to approve the bylaws. 100 to 2026 to 117, 2026 inclusive.
Sorry, through you, Mayor, we're just going to amend that slightly to
Okay.
have bylaws 102, 103, and 104 referred back to staff.
Okay, okay. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to closed session, and we have a few items in closed session. And as always, to the members of the public watching today's meeting, all meetings of council must start and end in public session, followed closed session. Council will reconvene in public session to complete its business on today's agenda. So it is 1:19. If we could go into 15-minute break. 11:45. Remember, council, we are on an ambitious schedule today because there's a Canada game and the downtown councils also have a business opening. So we'll take a motion to go into close, moved by Councillor Pelletier, seconded by Councillor Brar. All those in favor, motion carries. 11:45 in closed session. Okay. We are returned from in camera. And just to note that in the continuing interest of transparency and open government, we will report in public session any outcome from today's closed session business. As a result of our closed session today, I wish to report the following. We have on the screen 19.1, the item was deferred under approval of the agenda. 19.2, the item was approved on consent and not discussed in closed session. 19.3, the item was approved on consent and was not discussed in closed session. 19.4, the item was deferred under the approval of the agenda to July 8th. 19.5, the item was approved on consent and not discussed in closed session. 19.6, the item was approved on consent and was not discussed in closed session. And the directions thereon are approved, including the following motion arise from consideration open session. Okay. Moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Singh. The following people be appointed to the Brampton Elections Compliance Audit Committee. All those in favor? Motion carries. Takes us to the next item, 19.7. The item was approved on consent and was not discussed in closed session. 19.8, the item was approved on consent and was not discussed in closed session. 19.9, the item was considered in closed session, direction was given, including the following motion that arises. The motion arises to be considered an open session, moved by Councillor Vasante, seconded by Councillor Santos, to approve the motion on the screen. All those in favor? Motion carries. 19.10, this item was approved under 7.1, was not discussed in closed session. There's an open session motion, moved by Councillor Keenan, seconded by Councillor Medeiros. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to our confirming bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its regular meeting held on June 24th. Moved by Councillor Brar, seconded by Councillor Vasante. All those in favor? Motion carries. This takes us to adjournment, moved by Councillor Santos, seconded by Councillor Power. All those in favor? Motion carries. The council do now adjourn to meet again for a regular meeting of council on July 8th at 9:30 a.m.